Today in the Valley, we bring you stories with a local market, the magic of music, and long-past traditions. Greetings, I'm Max Berryman, your host for today's winter episode of In the Valley. In the Valley is your look into the Warwick Valley community and the people who help us come together. Black Friday came and went for 2019, but what if there was an alternative to going early in the morning for pre-holiday shopping? We take you now to Dan Walker with the story.
For many, Black Friday is the perfect time to buy gifts for friends and family because of the great deals at major retailers. But what if there was another way to get quality gifts for loved ones without going through all the hassle of waiting in lines and going from store to store? The Maker Market in Warwick does just that, and offers quality items from a variety of local vendors who sell their Christmas goods on Black Friday, all in one convenient location, the Warwick Community Center.
The Love Local Maker Market is now in its fourth year, and when we first set it up, we decided we wanted to showcase the work of Orange County makers. A maker is a local artisan that crafts something. It could be a food item, it could be a clothing item, it could be jewelry, glass, ceramics. We have them all here in the market.
Every year, the Maker Market, run by Wickham Works organization, decorates the community center with lights, decorations, and Christmas cookies for guests to set the holiday mood for the event. This year, the items sold consisted of glasswork, jewelry, jams, paintings, and much, much more, all locally made that you can't find anywhere else.
Borosilicate glassblowing is almost exclusive to the West Coast, and the East Coast is kind of just catching up, and you really don't see it for sale in stores because no large retailer can buy them wholesale, so you got to go to somebody like me.
It's different from stuff you would find at ShopRite or CVS or any retailer because it's handmade, it's all natural. We use essential oils and other natural oils to make our products.
I don't know about for anybody else, but I don't venture out into the box stores on Black Friday. It's too hectic. This is lovely.
So while many will go out on Black Friday to shop for deals on great gifts, you can save the hassle of all of it by coming out to the Warwick Valley Maker Market every year for local crafted gifts.
For WVTV, this is Dan Walker.
The Maker Market takes place on Black Friday weekend every year. For more information, visit wickhamworks.org or visit the Warwick Community Center. Don't go far. After this quick break, we have a new edition of Community Crossroads.
The ceremony was a blast. It was just like this surreal moment of my dreams are coming true.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said, "Oh, I apologize. She won't be taking you in as a client."
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
And sitting there in that small, cold room, I wanted to cry, just thinking, what did we bring this kid into?
We're simply asking to treat our family the same way that you would treat any family.
Welcome to the winter episode of Community Crossroads. I'm your host, Julius Carballo. Community Crossroads can be found each month at Warwick Valley Television in the Valley. You can find us online by subscribing to Warwick Valley Television on YouTube. In addition to In the Valley, you'll find Overtime, Wildcat News, and Short Stack. Joining me today is Charles Laverty, the owner and operator of Plaza Auto School in Monroe, New York. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I'll start off with the first question. Based on your experience, what would you give, what was your advice to new student drivers driving in the winter?
Don't, if you don't have to. But in all seriousness, number one, make sure that if you're driving in the winter, you're prepared to drive in the winter. That means that you've had some initial practice in a good, safe, secure area like a parking lot or a very quiet street with a little snow on the ground, and obviously a licensed driver over 21 with you. You've practiced a little bit on starting and stopping and a little bit on how the steering wheel works when you're on top of snow. The biggest issue there is that people go out thinking that, well, it's only 1 inch of snow, so it's not going to be dangerous, when in reality, 1 inch of snow, if it's not treated with respect, can be as dangerous as 12 or more inches of snow.
Okay. And what are some common mistakes do drivers make?
They're overconfident, and that's a big thing. They're undertrained, and that's a big thing. And they've gathered too much misinformation from friends and family regarding how to drive the car in general, and especially how to drive the car in inclement weather. There are some rules and some concepts. For example, in inclement weather, we teach our students to start more slowly, to stop more slowly, and to increase their following distance between their car and the car in front of them.
Okay, what do you think causes their overconfidence in driving?
Misinformation from their friends. Yeah. Lots of people think they're great drivers, and maybe some of them are, but driving is a learning experience. You have to drive or have driven on wet leaves, sand, gravel, black ice, snow, before you can say, well, I'm a pretty good driver in that sort of situation. You can't just have watched the TV program and seen some stunt driver doing something fantastic in a snowstorm, because that puts you in a very dangerous situation.
And what are some ways new drivers compare for driving in the winter?
Well, number one, read the driver's manual, because it gives you hints, that's for sure. Number two, take a couple of lessons, maybe from a driving school, where we can show you things you should do and things that you shouldn't do. And as I stated before, increase your following distance. Start more slowly, stop more slowly. And there are plenty of brochures out there and even websites that give you information on how to drive in certain situations, whether it's driving in the winter or driving in the heat of the summer. And it pays to take a look at those things to give yourself a leg up.
Okay, and of course they vary within different cars, the manual.
You mean the stick shift type of car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Driving, every car drives differently. And people sometimes don't realize that. Some of my students will say to me, wow, your driving school car handles so much differently than my parents' car. Well, most of our cars are mid-size or a little bit smaller because they're good for learning. Sometimes the student driver is driving his parents' pickup truck or a minivan or a large SUV. So you've got to get acclimated to the vehicle that you're driving.
Okay, and how many students do you say you teach during the winter months?
The winter months are the slower months of the year. We're limited because most of our students, we do have adult students, but most of our students are obviously 16 and 17-year-olds, maybe 18-year-olds, and they're in school in the daytime, so they don't get out until 2:30, and it's pretty dark at this time of the year, and until maybe March, it's pretty dark by 5 o'clock. So we're limited. I personally would probably take out about 4 students a day at this time of the year, whereas especially in the summer months, each instructor might be taking out 6 or more students because we've got daylight a lot longer.
And how many of those students do you think would be from Warwick?
My students from Warwick, I'd say probably 2/3, 66%, or maybe even slightly more.
Okay, and how do you separate your school from others?
Well, people ask me this all the time when they call up to inquire about taking lessons. As opposed to other schools, we give you the same instructor, the same car, the same day, and approximately the same time. The time could vary a little bit because of traffic and so on and so forth, but we keep it very consistent and persistent, and each lesson is a step forward from the last lesson, unless, of course, we need to review more of the last lesson. But that really enhances our pass rate when students take the road test. They haven't had 3 different instructors in 3 different cars, and again, we do it once a week, same instructor, same car, same day, approximately the same time.
Okay, and how far does the driving school go? Like, how many towns does it cover?
We cover primarily southeast Orange County, primarily southeast Orange County. We don't go to northern and western Orange County, although we do have students that meet us at our school. I've had students come from Brooklyn, and we've had students come from Poughkeepsie and Newburgh, and we usually try to meet them somewhere where it's not as laborious for them to get to us, but yet we can still get to them in a timely fashion.
Okay. Well, folks, it seems that's all the time we have. I'd like to thank today's guest, Charles Livery, for being with us for this edition of Community Crossroads. A special thanks to you, our viewer, for joining us as well. Remember to like and subscribe to Warwick Valley Television on YouTube. For Community Crossroads, I'm Julius Carballo. Catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
If you're thinking about whether or not you're sober enough to drive, you aren't. Otherwise, why would you be thinking about it, huh? Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him. Hi, I'm a warning sign. I let people know when they're, oh, gotta go.
I'll be right back.
Hi.
Music can bring out the best in people, even in the hardest of times. Let's take a look at how these kids use music as a positive outlook.
Road Recovery is a non-profit program that helps at-risk youth through music, live concert events, recording projects, and has been running for over 20 years. Recently, Road Recovery collaborated with a program associated with Bronx Connect called Release the Grip, or RTG. RTG has built its strength from those in the community who are already working for change.
It's like my comfort zone. I can trust the people here, and it's on every Wednesday, and it's called RTG, which stands for Release the Grip, and there's also a foundation called Road Recovery.
Road Recovery was able to inspire the kids in RTG through their love of music.
It just really helps me overcome with my emotions. Like when I'm really, if I'm sad one day, I just pick up a piano or like a drum. I just play the drums, and I can use all my emotions on that.
This is, to me, more of a life program than it is a music program or an arts program, because what we do is we come in here and we create stuff from situations and themes that the kids give us.
The program is dedicated to the power of we, and believes that when we can all come and work together, we can just be one step closer to positive change in this world.
To learn more about Road Recovery and its excellent programs, please visit www.roadrecovery.org. Some things are so ingrained in today's society, we never question why they exist. Cody Sheridan tries to answer an age-old question surrounding a worldwide Christmas tradition. Why?
Thumpity thump thump thump. Oh, Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul.
On the final day of November, Warwick held its annual tree lighting. Folks from all over the village gathered in Lewis Park in the freezing cold at night.
Nothing below my legs I can feel.
They did so to celebrate the beginning of the Christmas season, a symbolic event that occurs every winter. The chorus sang, and the tree was lit.
One. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone.
The most wonderful time of the year has begun. This tradition seems normal. Most people put up Christmas trees every year. But have you ever really thought about it? What does the lighting of a tree mean? Do the people of Warwick know?
Where else would Santa put his gifts?
That's it?
That's it. Where else would Santa put his presents?
It's probably because, I don't know, it's like a part of nature. We want nature in our household. Like, we keep plants in our household, but it's just we want a dead tree, and then we like to put its carcass with a bunch of, like, ornaments. That's it.
I guess not. Well, I suppose it means something different to everybody. But with some research, one can find out how it started. The tradition can be traced back to the Protestant reformer Martin Luther, who is said to be the first to put candles onto an evergreen tree to celebrate Christmas. Though there are examples that predate this, such as the medieval paradise trees, meant to be from Eden, and they were put up on December 24th. It is also very likely these traditions were actually adopted by Christianity to make it easier to convert pagans. Such methods were used for the dates of Christmas and Easter. There are examples of similar traditions in early Poland, Scandinavia. So a pagan ritual, adopted by Portuguese Christians, then Germans, passed on for centuries, here in Warwick every year. The tree represents tradition, a ghost of Christmas past, standing tall over the village of Warwick. So, even once the singing stops, and the last attendees trickle home, when only discarded signs of the event are left, and the night has returned to silence, the tree continues to stand, a guardian of tradition and a reminder of our past. I'm Cody Sheridan, wishing you all a happy holidays, no matter what traditions you have.
Hopefully that sheds some light on the origin of the Christmas tree and the power the past holds on the present. That's all we have for this edition of In the Valley. If you want to see more content from Warwick Valley Television, you could find us on YouTube. Check out our other shows, Wildcat News, Overtime, and Short Stack. This has been Max Berryman. Until next time.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this like deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day. He's an incredible companion and my best friend.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool.
When I retired from the Navy, I found myself on a void in my life that had been filled by the people that I served with. Tommy really brought an important factor to my life. I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.